could to propel me because we're all on the same team and I love it.
You definitely never want to miss a huge event like East Coast Builder School. It's absolutely incredible. Remember, winners never miss a meeting.
That gets loud. That gets loud. All right, guys, we got a lot to go over tonight. There's a ton of people missing, but they'll figure it out eventually. They will figure it out eventually. All right, can everybody see me? Like, I know it switched over. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. So listen, tonight we're going to cover life insurance product, our life insurance product. We're going to go over some social media stuff, and then we're going to end with appointment settings. Finding as I'm talking to people, there's just a massive disconnect on what we teach as far as how to set appointments and what people are actually doing. And then we wonder why we're not getting the results that we want. So let me hit this really quick. I know people are going to be joining, so we'll kind of get going right now. The biggest thing that I want everyone to remember is that if you're new and you're in your field training bonus window, you have the opportunity right now to maximize a $550 bonus, right? If you're brand new. So, brand new, you come in, you get your first promotion when you have one recruit and 1,000 in field training observation premium, meaning you sat on a training appointment that we were successful to get somebody a life insurance policy. It's the way you're going to learn the business, okay? Normally that's a $200 bonus. Right now it is a $200 bonus plus an extra $200 bonus and 50 for logging into the app and another 100 if you finish your pre-licensing within the first 30 days. So if you came into the business at any point in the month of August, you get 30 days from the time that you came in to finish your pre-licensing. Look, if you're going to finish it anyway, just do it a little bit faster and bank the extra money. So right now you're talking about a $550 bonus and a promotion to a 35% contract. That's huge. It ends in August, right? So month end production for August is actually the night of the 2nd. Okay. So Labor Day is this weekend. That's Monday. The Tuesday, the 2nd, is actual like month end. That is the last day of stuff to count for August. So that's the last day for your bonus to get jacked up and like go really, really high. Okay. When we switch over to September production on the morning of September 3rd, I can't promise you what's going to be there from an incentive standpoint because home office changes it all the time. Does that make sense? Right? Okay, good deal. So listen, I'm going to jump into the life insurance stuff because I think there's even on like the licensed agent side, you guys maybe have never really broken down a policy. So that's what we're going to do really quick. So I took this policy. This is an actual client. I redacted a lot of the information. So all you're going to see is like just generic info, but it's from a real policy. Okay. And so let me turn on my chat as well, just in case. Just in case. All right, so I can see that. Good. All right. So this is when a policy issues, right? This is what it's going to look like. You're going to see the client's age, what kind of policy they actually have. So as we're looking at this, let me turn the glow stick on, right? So this is a 41-year-old client, class 6. He is a male. Precision 30. So this is the length of the term, and it says term to age 95. That means without a conversion, he could keep renewing this policy at the end of the term in annual renewable terms. It will get more expensive all the way until he was age 95. So that's what that actually means. Like if you're looking at some other company's policy and it says term to 80 or something, don't let your client be fooled into thinking that they have a level policy until age 80. Our coverage is level as well, but it ain't going to be level till they're 95. That would be crazy. Okay. The date is the issue date. The amount is the amount of the coverage. Okay. And then the payment amount is here. So that's sort of like the basic information. So here's again, very, very similar. It tells you how long the policy is going to be level, and it tells you what it is, and it tells you what's in the policy, right? Like if this client had a child rider on this policy, the child rider would show up right here. Okay. I am going to break down a separate child rider as well, just to kind of show you guys that. But here's the table, guys, right? And so people ask all the time, like, well, how do I know that the policy is actually going to be that price for that long? I say, well, when your policy issues, we're going to go over exactly what it is. So in this one, check it out. policy years 1 through 30, age of the client, what is the scheduled monthly premium and the maximum? Well, God bless, they're identical. Right? That's why it's called level term life insurance, because the price today is the price at the end. Think about it like this, right? We're giving the client 30 years of level term coverage. A lot of other companies will try to sell your clients or try to sell clients in general a 10-year term, 15, maybe 20-year term, because at the end of that term, what do they generally have to do? Right? At the end of most companies' term policies, what do they have to do if they want to keep coverage? They have to reapply. They have to, or they would convert it to a whole life policy, and the price is going to get astronomical, right? At the end of our policies, you have conversion options. You can decrease it to 100 years old, right? Price will stay the same. Coverage will get lower every year as your client gets older. Or if they've actually followed our advice, by the time this client is 70 and his mortgage is gone, he has no need to replace an income because he's fully retired, right? His kids are full, like grown and gone. Think those are all of the reasons that we would generally have life insurance in the first place. But if you remove all of those reasons, does the client actually still need life insurance, especially if they've done what we've taught them to do along the way and they've got a boatload of money setting aside? No, you're self-insured at that point, right? So think about it like this too. How many life insurance companies, guys, are going to teach their client how to get out of the need for the one product with our name, with our name on it? I can't think of any other company besides Primerica that would teach that to clients, right? So let's talk about some of the actual like benefits of our policies, right? So obviously level term, some of the longest terms in the industry, right? Like I could have given this client a 35-year term. The price would have been a lot more though, because he would have been 71 to 75 in those last 5 years. That would have made his monthly premium probably close to, I don't know, $140 a month. It wasn't really necessary, right? So again, just because we can do it for the client doesn't mean that we should. We have to do some analysis. We're usually trying to get clients right into that like retirement age window is usually what we're looking for, right? So here's one of the other cool things about our policy. Increasing benefit rider is built in. It's sort of like inflation protection, right? Everybody think back 10 years ago. 10 years ago was 2015. Think about like wherever you lived in 2015, how much a $500,000 house would have been, right? Think back 10 years ago, you could have bought a $500,000 house, and like fast forward to today, how much would that house cost? Well, I can tell you in this area where we live in Florida, a $500,000 house in 2015 would probably be worth close to 1.5 to $2 million right now. So think about it. Is a $500,000 10 years from now going to buy you the same thing that a $500,000 does today? There's no way. Inflation says no, right? So here's what happens with an increasing benefit rider. One, it's optional, right? Because if you look at the cost for the first year, well, there is no cost. There's no cost because there's no benefit, right? So going into the client's second year, around month 10, they're going to get a letter from a home office. They're going to say, hey, you're within 60 days. This is your increasing benefit rider schedule. It's coming. Do you want it? The client's going to hopefully read the letter. You're also hopefully going to be reaching out to your clients around that time. Okay. And so what happens if the client keeps it? The client's automatically going to get an extra 10% in coverage. The cost is going to be less than what 10% of their original coverage would be. And then they don't have to qualify for that. Meaning, if so, real example, I have a client right now. She's like 32. She has stage 3 or 4 cancer. Her husband called me about 6 months ago and said, hey, no, I just wanted to check on the policy. I know we have the original 400,000, right? Jane Doe has cancer now. Is the company going to drop us? I said, drop you? I said, why would we drop you? He's like, well, she's got cancer. I didn't know. I was like, dude, this is you have life insurance and you got life insurance before any of this happened. I said, not only are we not going to drop you, your increasing benefit rider just kicked in. You actually have $440,000 on your wife, soon to be 480. And oh, by the way, you have a child rider under her policy. God forbid something happens to your wife, like actually happens. We're going to pay the full death benefit, and your kids have paid up insurance until they turn 25. He goes, "What? I didn't remember that." So, and I'll show you where that is in the child rider. Okay. So, look back to increasing benefit rider. Every year the client gets older, if they keep it, they get an extra 10% in coverage. So, effectively, what happens is they're going to get a second equivalent policy. It's a rider, right? It's like attached on. And now for years 11 through 20, it's essentially an extra 10-year term that doubles their coverage. Okay, think about it like this. So I'll put some of my own business out there, right? I'm a 100% disabled veteran. I got my policies with Primerica before all of that stuff went crazy, right? Every year I've been adding 50,000 in coverage because I have a $500,000 policy, one of them. I've been adding an extra 50,000 every year for, I mean, pennies, right? Relative to what I'm getting. But if I went out and tried to get a policy right now anywhere else, even with Primerica, my medical history is so crazy, I probably wouldn't get approved because of everything that I did with the VA. Okay. But in 7 more years, I'm going to have another 500,000 in coverage that I didn't have to qualify for. It's based on my health rating from when I was 40. Guys, you seen the value kind of stacking up here? It just keeps going. But wait, there's more, right? So check this out. Now here's the last thing, and then we'll get off the increasing benefit rider. Look at the price, and then the price from years 11 through 20, so 10 years, doesn't change. It's another 10-year level term policy, but the client's 10 years older, could be 10 years less healthy, and they didn't have to qualify for it, and it doesn't cost extra because they're that much older. Now, these tables are specific to every client because had he come back like ultra preferred, this would be even cheaper. Okay. So here's the last thing. When a client hits year 21, we're almost never, ever, ever going to let the client keep that increasing benefit rider. Look at the price. The price went to almost $600, right? Or go biggie size a little bit. The price went to almost $600 for that same 500,000. He's still paying 118 for his original 500,000, and it will stay that price for 10 more years. Do you think I'm ever going to let him keep this rider? No. I would be doing him a disservice if I let him pay that. But here's the thing. If he turns 61 and he finds out he's got some like ridiculous amount of like terminal type cancer or something, do you think he's really going to care about paying $600 for a $500,000 in coverage when he knows something soon is bad about to happen? Nope. And it can never be taken away from him unless he removes it from the policy. Right? He would let us know and we would take it off the policy for him and do it with a DocuSign. It's very simple. Last thing about the increasing benefit rider. Say he calls me 3, 4 years from now, right? Maybe around year 5, and he's got $250,000 extra in the policy. He's like, hey man, I think I'm good. I don't need any extra. Okay, well now we stop it. But whatever is on there that's accumulated, it stays and it just does not increase ever. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's the increasing benefit rider. Last big thing, one of the last big things, is terminal illness benefit, right? So we call this the living benefit, accelerated death benefit. Think about it right now. For any of you guys, do any of you have access to somewhere between 250 and $400,000 in cash? God forbid you wake up tomorrow with a terminal diagnosis. Put in the Zoom chat. Anybody? I mean, some of you, if you have Primerica insurance, you should be saying yes, right? Like if you have Primerica life insurance, you better be saying yes because you do. Because here's what happens. And again, this is built into the policy. This guy right here, 40% is baked into your policy no matter what. Okay. So you have up to $250,000 or 40%, right? Whichever one is lower. Meaning, well, this is also the maximum, right? So let's just say you have a $250,000 policy. That means 40% of that is 100 grand. You wake up tomorrow and you have a terminal diagnosis from your doctor, meaning you have 6 months or less to live, right? It says it right here. Life expectancy of 6 months or less, right? If you have 6 months or less to live, you can send that diagnosis into Primerica. We're going to verify it, right? We're going to call your doctor. We're going to make sure it's real. And you can advance yourself a portion of your life insurance policy up to 40%. If you have waiver of premium on the policy, right? The disability waiver, you can access up to 400 grand or 70%, right? So like for my client, the policy we were looking at with a 500,000 on here, you can access $350,000. He can in cash, tax-free. It's in advance of a death benefit, guys. It's tax-free. And it's your money. You can go do whatever the heck you want. Go on a cruise around the world, get experimental medical treatment. It's whatever, right? Because most people think you get really, really sick and die, and that's awful, and it is, right? There's no doubt. But what happens if you get really, really sick and you're terminal and you keep going? Do you like most people, if that happens, right? Your bills are going up, but what's happening to your income? Down, right? Think about your ability to work if you're terminal. You're probably not out there like still on your grind. Not happening. So if you have access to this kind of cash, pretty amazing. This is a huge selling point, even for people that are single. And they're like, I don't really know that I need a whole lot of life insurance, right? I don't got kids yet, right? My girlfriend, maybe, I don't know. Say, listen, totally understand that. But like, what would happen if you got really, really sick and you found out you had a terminal diagnosis and you had like 6 months to live? Would you have access to like a couple $100,000 that you could live off of and enjoy those last 6 months? And they say no. It's like, great. Now that you have a Primerica life insurance policy, you do. Right? So that's the reality, guys. And I'm going to stop the share really quick because I want to search for one thing and then 'cause I don't know if I actually redacted it enough, right? So let's see, insurability. I want to show you guys that when it comes time to renew, that you don't have to show or prove any kind of insurability in order to keep your policy. Okay. Let's see. Cancel, send us evidence, send us evidence. Here we go. I had it saved earlier, but for some reason the redacted version didn't save. Okay. So exchange at the end, right? Exchange at the end. Let me just add a, here we go. Exchange. Maybe this time it'll actually save. Okay, so what does exchange mean, right? Exchange means you get to the end of your original contract. So let's say for my buddy, right, he becomes 70, 71. Now what can he do? He can renew it the exact way it is and pay a lot for it because he'll be 70 or 71. But even if he has to pay a lot, right, it doesn't matter. Why? Why won't it matter? Because right here in the policy, it says, do you have to provide evidence of insurability to exchange your coverage? No, we will not require it. What does that mean in like layman's terms, like in plain language? It means you're guaranteed to be covered at the end of the term. It means we can't deny you for any reason. You could show up with like stage 99 cancer on your deathbed the day that your policy is about to expire and call and say, hey, I'm renewing this, right? And I say, hey, listen, John Doe, your policy is going to go from $100 a month to like $1,000 a month. He goes, I don't care. I'm probably dying tomorrow. I said, sorry about it, man. Let's make sure your beneficiary is correct. You don't have your ex-wife on there, right? He's like, nope, because I jumped on my myprimerica.com account and changed it yesterday. Do you guys know if a client goes in and changes their My Primerica beneficiaries and stuff like themselves online on their phone in the app, it takes effect immediately? Pretty cool, right? Immediately. Immediately. So look at this. All sorts of ways to exchange policies, right? There's probably going to be exchange options 20, 30 years from now that don't even exist yet because we update and like create new policies all the time. But you're grandfathered in with whatever you have. But this is huge. Think about it like this. What other company would let you renew your policy, doesn't ask for a medical exam, doesn't ask you any health questions? And here's the best part. Here's the best part. Oh, here we go. What are the premium amounts for the exchange in the future? Can't tell you because it's going to be based on some stuff that changes. But here's the best part, right? It's based on the age of the insured person at the exchange, and watch this, it will be at the same premium class shown in part one. Hold on. You're telling me that if I apply right now and I come back with a preferred health rating, meaning like up to class two for a man, meaning like really, really preferred, when I'm 72 and I want to renew my policy and I'm super overweight, I got all the diabetes, right? I got all sorts of cancer coming around, everything bad that you can imagine, I get to renew my policy and I get to keep my preferred health rating and I don't have to answer any medical questions. Well, the answer is yes. Yes, you do. That's the power of a Primerica policy. And that's why our life insurance, why it's not always the cheapest, right? It's still pretty friggin' cheap, but it's not always the cheapest when you compare it to other stuff. But at the end of the day, price is only an issue in the absence of value, right? So if you know everything that's built into our policies, price really shouldn't even be a problem, right? Any questions on this before I hit the child rider stuff? The child rider is going to blow you all away, right? Especially for those of you that have never seen anything about our coverage before. So children's term insurance, right? Here we go. This is just all like general blah blah blah, right? So nothing really fun in there. Insured children. Who can be insured, right? Which children? Well, any of your legally adopted children, any of your actual children, any children that you're a guardian for, any grandchild. This also doesn't include nieces and nephews because the reason it doesn't include nieces and nephews specifically in the policy is because there are state specific restrictions on some of that, right? If you pull up a certain policy for a certain state, it'll just say like natural child or legal guardian. Sometimes it doesn't even show grandchild or niece and nephew. But I promise you, right? If your nieces and nephews live with you or you are guardians for them, you can put them little jokers on the child rider, and it doesn't change the price. Okay? Check this out. Can a legally adopted child be insured? Yep. On the date of the adoption or the day that the child is 5 years old. Okay, well, what happens if I have three kids now and I adopt five, or I have three kids now and I end up with 10 grandkids, right? Well, guess what? Any child can be added when they turn 5 days old. The price doesn't change. They're all covered for whatever the child rider was set at. If you are one of our agents, you will always cover children for 25,000. I'm about to show you why. Okay. Children can be added to a child rider if they're at least 5 days old and they're under 18. And they're going to stop being covered, meaning they can stay on the rider until they turn 25. Okay. Check this out. Paid up term insurance, right? Go back to my client who has cancer. They have kids, right? God forbid something happens to that mom, right? Those children will have paid up insurance until they turn 25. It's automatically exchanged, right? It has the same face amount for their coverage that they had while they were still like actually on the rider and requires no premiums. Okay. Here's the exchange portion. This is the guaranteed insurability side for children, right? Can you exchange? Yes. If the premium has been paid when it comes time to exchange, we designate without needing to provide proof of insurability. That means kids can never be declined, right? It exchanged when the kids turn 25 or within 30 days of the policy if the child's still alive. It must be above the minimum amount required, but not more than 5 times the face amount of the rider, max up to 125. So listen, guys, the reason that we cover children for 25,000, one, it's like 14 bucks. It's cheaper than your Netflix to cover all of your kids, grandkids, nieces, all of them. One rider covers all of them. I don't care if it's 15 kids. I think my record is like still 13. One lady put 13 grandkids on a child rider. Basically, the only reason she even got the policy was so she could cover all of them. I don't care. The only restriction is that the policy itself has to be like a little bit more expensive than the rider. So she could have put like a $15,000 policy on herself or something and then covered all the grandkids and the whole thing would have been like 28 bucks a month. Okay. But in the future, that future value caps at 125 if we're just converting it. Now, if the kids are healthy, they can have as much coverage as they want, right? But think about it. How many of you know somebody that has children, right? That have had some sort of crazy diagnosis? Maybe they have like type 1 diabetes already, or they've had some sort of crazy bone or blood cancer. Yep. One of my best friends, his son is one of 8 kids in the country that have ever been diagnosed with this crazy kind of blood cancer. One of 8. Well, guess what? They were already clients. He beat it. He's good. But do you think that poor kid is ever going to be actually insurable down the road if he's one of 8 people that have ever had this kind of blood cancer? Uh, I don't know. Probably not. But worst case Ontario, he's still got a $125,000 policy he can convert when he turns 25. No issues, right? No issues. That's the biggest that's the biggest thing, right? Obviously, termination ends when they like age off the policy or if somebody cancels the policy. Any questions so far on any of our actual coverage? I'm a little bit ahead of where I was hoping to be, so it gives us more time for some of the other stuff. Anything, right? It's just us guys. You can unmute yourself, you can ask questions. If there's anything you don't understand, anything you want me to like go back over, nothing? Okay. All right. So what we're going to jump into really quick is a crash course in social media and running the play, right? So how do we generate activity? How do we do that? And if I go fast, don't worry, it's recorded, right? So let me get this new share up. We'll get this going. All right. So we already hit this. Social media, like tip of the hat to Casey. She built this back in the day. So just think about this really quick. How did you get here? Right? For most of us, we saw a post on social media somewhere, right? Some of us maybe knew somebody, maybe bumped into a friend, but put it in the Zoom chat right now. Like, how did you all get here? How did you get here? Facebook, right? Facebook, you saw a post somewhere. For most of us, it was Facebook. Social media, guys, is just your hot and warm market. That's all it is, right? So what we do is leverage the Facebook algorithm basically against itself, right? So we're going to teach you to kind of be social media masters, okay? And I want you to start thinking about your social media as like your brand, your calling card, your business card, right? When somebody goes and like stalks you on social media really quick, what kind of vibe are they getting? Are they going, that's the kind of person that can get me where I want to go? I'll listen. Or do they go, don't really know that I need to be seeing Edward Forty Hands on an adult's like social media page anymore, right? So just think about that. Think about that as you're sort of like curating your brand, right? So how'd you get here? This is what we call running the play. So when it comes to your social media post, guys, when you make your post, you want to make sure it's pinned, you're going to use a picture, and you want it to be public. Okay. So here's an example. Let me actually, oh, I don't want to share. I want to present. Try to make this a little bit bigger. There we go. That's a little bit bigger. All right. So this is Casey's stuff, right? So she made the post. It's public. You can see by that little globe, right? So if you don't know how to do this, right, you want to click the 3 dots. Once you do it, you should be able to make it public because you want it to be shareable. Okay. And you also want to make sure that you pin it to the top of your page because anytime you go put something else on your page, you don't want this to get buried. Okay, so definitely make sure it's public, pinned, and use a picture, right? She had a picture of her kids up. I would highly recommend you use a picture of yourself. You want something that looks professional, some sort of headshot, right? No filters, no Instagram or like Snapchat filters, none of that, right? And then when it comes to people commenting on the post, and this applies to everything when it comes to your social media, you want to keep your algorithm high, right? Because if your algorithm is high, that means the actual chance of somebody seeing your stuff goes up because your feed is being pushed in front of more people, right? So every time someone comments, right? Whether it's interested, hey, shoot me some info, what it doesn't matter what they comment, even if they're just saying, hey, great picture, you look amazing, so good to see you, congratulations, reply to it. It doesn't matter, right? Now, obviously, if somebody just says congratulations, they're probably not looking for information, right? They're just like being supportive. So reply to it, say thank you. How are you? Still ask a question, right? Remember, the whole point of asking the question to get a reply is to use the algorithm against itself. The reason that we do this, it's called genuine connection. The algorithm says they posted it, somebody commented, you replied to their comment, and then they replied to that comment. That's genuine connection, and it goes in front of more people. Okay. So that's the whole purpose. That's the why behind why we do this. Now, what happens after you actually reply to that comment and ask a question? The next thing that you should be doing is creating a three-way text message between that person, yourself, and your trainer, whoever's running your post, right? If you're independent, well, God bless, just you and that person. Okay. And so here's just some do's and don'ts when it comes to the actual like rules and standards of the Facebook post. Always a professional picture. Think back, like think to yourself, would I want to trust me with my money in that picture? Right? Would I trust me with financial advice in that picture? Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know. Right? Pin it, public, tag your trainer. Guys, if you don't tag us, there's a great chance we'll never see it. And then we can't go inspect it for you and make sure it's done correctly. Trainers, I want you like having people make their Facebook post either immediately when they sign up or like the next morning when you get in front of them. Okay. Guys, heart every comment. The hearts, for some reason, get more like algorithm juice than just a thumb. Answer every question or every comment with a question. Now, this is just an example. I would recommend like changing this up so that you don't look so much like a bot, but it should always be a very, very simple question, right? You don't need paragraphs under each comment. All it is something simple. Hey, can I send you some more info? Can I DM you? I sent you a PM, a DM. Did you get it? Because put in the Zoom chat. Are you actually waiting for that person to respond on the page before you send them an actual like message? Absolutely not. Right? Absolutely not. The whole point of asking the question is just to get them to respond so that the algorithm goes whoop, whoop, whoop. That's the whole point. Okay. Then you set up that three-way chat and introduce whoever is running the chat for you. Okay. And we send those scripts to you guys once you're new and you come in. Please, please, please tag your trainer. And guys, if you're making your very first post ever, right, just be a real person. Be a real person. Those people that are commenting are your friends. That's why you're the one making the group chat. Because if I went and did it and they don't know me, it's going to go to their message request and they're likely never going to see it. Okay. So, hey, this is my trainer. Hey, this is Noah. He's going to tell you all the info about my post since I'm still new. Noah, can you tell us about the positions? Or Haley, or Jen, or Angela, or whomever, right? It doesn't matter, right? So you just edit that for whatever your situation is. Okay. Guys, if you come in and your social media presence is pretty small, great. Start growing it, right? Casey Morris, if you guys know Casey, when she came into the business, she had maybe 600 or 700 like people on her social media. I said, girl, that's cute. That ain't gonna cut it. You need to get to a couple thousand, right? Like if you want to have actual reach, when you put something out, you need to have bigger numbers, right? And she goes, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. And I said, great. Well, if you don't want to do that, then you're going to have to get more people to make a post and share for you. Yeah. And she's over 4,000 now. Why? Because she's coachable. Because she's coachable. You can add somewhere between 25 and 50 people a day. Now, you want to make sure they're macho, meaning they're married, have kids, they look professional, right? You're trying to expand your market of either potential future agents or potential future clients, right? So mutual friends, they look professional, those are the ones you go after. Okay. For some of you, like moms that are out there, check out pages or groups that you have similar interests in, right? Remember, though, you're not going into those groups to harvest. You're not going into those groups to like make a social media post inside that group because what you're going to end up with primarily is a lot of like time thieves, right? People that want all this information, but then they never do anything. So you can go in, you could message people off of those directly, but don't ever go in there and make a post, right? Family business rule. What I don't ever want people doing, and something that sort of like holds people back from coming in to like especially a social media type based business is like, oh my God, like I don't want to post every day on my page. And I say, thank God, because I don't want you to either. Right? Like think about it, guys. Like if you go to my page, right, go to my Facebook page right now. If you go to my Facebook page right now, you will not see buy life insurance, hey, life insurance, life insurance, life. You won't because that looks spammy, right? Remember, your social media is a brand, it's a calling card, right? And your opportunity post should only go up one time. Don't reshare your own post, don't spam your own page with your own post. If you want to like generate some traffic or activity on it, use the at highlight, use the at followers, ask people to share your post, and we'll go over that here in a second. Okay. No social media, no problem. Your job is marketing, right? It's getting in front of people. If your social media is very small, you need to go out and ask a couple of highly influential people that you have in your circle to do you a favor, right? Hey, Angela, listen, you've got a great social media following. I'm building mine right now. Would you do me a favor? And then, hey, listen, if you would do me a favor, if you would just make a social media post for me on Facebook or Instagram or whatever you use, right? It would really help me out while I'm kind of just like growing my following. Honestly, you might even know somebody this would be great for. Is that something you'd be open to? There you go. Right? That's it, guys. And then they make a post for you. Give them the same post, but change the verbiage a little bit. It just says, my friend's financial firm is hiring, is looking for new people. Have them use a picture of themselves, honestly, because then they're going to look like real people as well, right? It's way better. It's way better to do it that way. Shares are good, right? But getting a new post, 1,000 times better, right? 1,000 times better. So what can you do to grow faster? Ask for shares on your personal post. You need to make them public. You need to go actually track them and turn notifications on for them. Otherwise, somebody's going to make a share for you. I've seen it happen. And then on that shared post, there's like 15, 20, 30 comments, never been replied to. Make sure you turn on notifications, right? If somebody shares a post for you, go click the little button and I'll walk you through this with a live demonstration just so you see what I'm talking about. Have good market friends post new posts on your behalf and make sure they tag you, right? And please, 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 if you're booking appointments, you should not be booking appointments for like September 15th, right? Like if you're talking to somebody and they're booking an appointment and they're like, oh yeah, we'll get together on like the 14th of September. And be like, hey, thanks so much, right? Affirm, answer, close. Hey, thanks so much. Is there any way we could meet sooner? I don't want to wait that long because I think this is something that you should hear like a little bit sooner. I only need like 30 minutes. We don't need like 3 weeks for 30 minutes. Am I right? Now, people would probably there will be people that are like, nope, that's the day I have, and God bless, right? But like, hey, do me like I'll get back to you around like the 10th or 11th. Make sure it's still good for you. We'll get you booked then. Sound good? Then you better go find some sort of tracking mechanism for yourself. Like go put it on your own calendar, right? Like a to-do list or something. Follow back up with Bob, right? And for you independent people, you should have multiple booking slots, especially for interviews, right? You should be allowing yourself to double, even triple book in certain situations, because otherwise you'll be pushing people off for a week or 2 weeks from now. And if somebody was interested today, but you tell them they got to wait 2 weeks, are they going to be interested in 2 weeks? Probably not, right? People have attention spans of gnats lately, right? So that is what it is. All right, back real quick. Save all of your posts in a folder. I'll show you how to do that. Angela ever taught me how to do this like a year and a half ago, and it changed my life. Changed my life, right? I was out there hunting and pecking, just looking for stuff. Pro tips, guys, get the scripts from your trainer. Everything that we do on social media is a script. It's a script. For those of you that came in and have seen like another chat ran, you know for a fact that it's a script, but it's a script on purpose. Because if you're on script, you can't really say the wrong thing. And if you're on script, it keeps you from like oversharing Because if you overshare up front, people don't really feel like they need to come to an interview. They don't, they're like, oh, I got all the information. I'll think about it. I'll get back to you. They ain't coming back. They're not. Just saying, right? Just saying. Yes. And if you notice in the scripts, there's a question at the end of every script for a reason. It's to get the person to respond. So you have to sort of like take a mental beat and wait for answers. So if you ever see one of us type WFA, like Angela just did in the chat, it means wait for answer, right? Same thing if you're sitting with a client and talking and you ask a question, wait for answer. All right. Guys, announce your success, right? Amber Markham, when she passed her exam, I say, hey, girl, look, you need to go make your post, like stating that you passed your exam. You're so excited. You're so grateful. That's it. Not buy, sell, join, nothing, just gratitude, right? I went and looked at that post earlier today randomly because it popped up. That post got, I don't even know how many reactions, and it was close to 80 comments already. Now, half of those are Amber doing the right thing and replying to every person, right? But now Amber has a list. Amber has a list of 40 people that congratulated her on passing a life insurance license exam. Why is that important? Because now Amber can go direct message every single one of those people, thanking them for congratulating her, checking in, strike up a conversation, right? 3 or 4 back and forth exchanges. And now she's in, right? Because now she can say, hey, thank you so much for congratulating me on the post, right? I've got to get some training in now that I've got my license. Is that something you'd be open to helping me with? Wait for answer. Think about it though. If they just congratulated her, they know that she just got a life insurance license, and she says, would you be open to helping? Did she have to go like bug those people to comment on the post to congratulate her in the first place? No. So that means they saw it automatically and they commented of their own volition. They were watching. People are always watching, right? So the other thing, after you get licensed and appointed and your bonus pays, because God bless, you better have a freaking bonus, right? And your bonus pays, you should go do that thing too. Oh my gosh, so grateful. Appointed, fully licensed and appointed today, legal to help clients. Got my first bonus check. Just gratitude, just gratitude, right? Not buy, sell, join, do nothing, right? Just gratitude. Is that the end? God bless. It sure was. So that was the end of that one. Okay. I smashed that in like 13 minutes. That's the fastest I've ever done that. What I'm going to do really quick though, I'm going to bring up an actual Facebook post. I'm going to walk through a few things. And then for the last 10 minutes, I'm going to hit appointment setting. Okay. And I'm going to do like a demonstration and I'm going to talk to you what you should actually be doing when it comes to setting appointments. Because be honest, right? Be honest in the chat right now. How many of you guys, especially if you're new, are texting people to set appointments? Right? Victoria, are you still here? I hope so. Victoria's still here. So Victoria texted me earlier, like we were just kind of chatting back and forth, and she said, "Hey, I'm frustrated because I can't get anybody to set an appointment." And I said, "Well, what's going on? Do you have like 10 minutes, jump on a call?" Well, 10 minutes turned into 30 because you guys know me, I talk, right? But what we ended up doing was role playing and talking about actually setting appointments because she was sending a bunch of text messages and then getting ghosted. And for the people that weren't ghosting her, they were saying, "Hey, I'm too busy." That's a smokescreen. That's BS, right? That's an objection. That's not real. Nobody's too busy to give you 30 minutes. Nobody. Okay. Especially if it's somebody that knows you and cares about you. They're not that busy, I promise. Right? But let's hit this really quick. Yes, this is like my Facebook live, right? So we're just gonna roll with it. So hopefully nobody sends any crazy messages because I got some weird old like veteran buddies and you never know some of these people. All right. So let's go hit a post really quick. Since we're talking about Victoria, let's go look at Miss Victoria, right? So Victoria, tons of followers, right? But it's hard with this kind of page, it's hard to see actual friend numbers. So it gets a little wonky sometimes, right? So this is inspecting your people's posts, right? It's pinned, right? Great job. Her trainer is tagged. It's public. Love it, right? But we come down here and what's the first thing I see? I see 24 comments and only one share, right? So I know immediately that if I'm trying to help Victoria, the best thing that she can be doing is increasing this to double digits. 10, 20 public shares, it's just going to get out there more and more and more. More people are going to see it. Okay. So if you're coming into your own post, come in, hit view more. You see how this is automatically set to most relevant? I don't like that. I want all comments, right? It needs to be all comments because if it's most relevant, some of those other comments are going to be buried sometimes, right? So I'm coming in, right? Her trainer did the exact right thing. Haley came in, was the first one to comment. It starts the train, right? Every single thing on here should be hearted. And if somebody comments, right, there should be a reply, right? Like, I forgot the reply. Hey, look, I'm human, guys. We're all human, right? I'm just thanking Haley for the tag, right? Who cares? It doesn't matter what you say. It's another comment. It's going to bump the post, right? Interested, right? So Haley, great job getting in there and asking the question. Did you get the information you needed? She never saw it, right? Most likely. So here's the example though. When most people, guys, when you ask a question, what do most people do? They respond, right? So interested? Can she send a message? Yes. Now, this is going to be much more powerful when Victoria is the actual one sending those messages, right? And when Victoria is, and when the actual person is the one responding to those comments. Guys, remember, it's your post and it's your people. Do you think they want to hear from you or from some random stranger? They want to hear from you. Okay. So look, every single comment should be hearted and replied to. Okay. So look, you see a pattern. Hey, Victoria said, can I DM you? Yes. Look, it keeps going. It keeps going. And then Victoria, here's the last thing, right? I know Miss Judy, it doesn't really look like she wants info. Who cares, right? Go in, click reply. That drops their name in. They get an extra notification out of it. And just say thank you. Just say thank you, right? And then ask a question. Thanks, girl. What are you up to? When are you coming back around? When are you going to come show me that baby? I don't care what you say. They're your people. Say something appropriate for that person, right? But the point is to ask a question to get them to comment because then it's going to go and go and go, right? That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. But yes, everybody, guys, once you get a share, go in and click it and see if it's public, right? So Millie is Victoria's better half, right? It's public, but here's the problem. Even though it's public, can I comment on it? There's nowhere for me to comment, right? So it's public, but there's still something wonky going on. So he might have it set to like friends only or something. Like that's just something like you're gonna have to deal with that on an individual basis, right? But still, when somebody shares it, go in, comment on it, and make sure you turn on notifications. So here's an example, right? So I've never seen this shared post before. So watch this. Click the three dots. I could save it and I could turn on notifications for it. Because like right now, if there's like 50 people could be commenting on this thing, I would never see those comments because I don't have notifications turned on. So like unless I was going here, I would never see it, right? So I'm going to save it just so I can show you how I have them saved, right? So save to redline post. Only I can see this folder. Nobody else can come look at this and see it. Only me, right? So only me. So it's done. And then now I'm going to go turn on notifications just to show you what it looks like. All right. So now if somebody goes in here and comments on this, I will get a notification up here in like the little area, right? In the little notification box. So I'm going to leave, right? Now I want you to see the shared folder type stuff. So over here, and I'm on my desktop, right? So it looks a little bit different on your phone, but I'm on my desktop. So over here on this saved like folder, all of these are people that have made a post, right? They go back forever. So if you're ever dead in the water, you can go back and sort of like re-engage these, get them going. Your best bet though is have someone make a brand new post for you. Right. So I'm going to go look at Selena's post from earlier. Let me see if I turned on notifications, right? See how it says off now or unsave? That's what I want because I want notifications on, right? So let's go jump in here. Look at all these comments. This is good, right? So Selena's crushing it, right? She just replied 15 minutes ago. Kaylee commented 8 hours ago, right? So guys, make sure you're paying attention to your stuff. Trainers, make sure you're paying attention as well. Make sure all comments are on. See how what it defaults to most relevant. Make sure you turn on all comments, guys. Okay. So hearts, 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 right? Sort of like shots if you're in Mexico. Shots, shots, shots. Come on. We're getting late. It's getting late. Right. So excited, right? So some of these comments you got to take it with a grain of salt, right? Because three, four of them so far are just people in the business, right? But you can also just jump in on some, don't ever, like if you're already in the business, guys, don't ever jump on somebody's post and ask for info. Because that looks, it's scammy, right? Because somebody can do like 2 minutes of sleuthing and see that you're friends and that you're already in the business together. Don't do that. But you can come in and like be genuine. Hey, excited for you, right? So Selena's jumped in here and been commenting on this, right? So can I DM you the details? So Selena, be honest, hopefully you're on the call right now. Have you already sent messages to these people and put them in a chat with Haley? I hope. She was here earlier. Maybe she left. I don't know. Right. Hopefully she is though. Right. Haley, are you in chats right now? She been slapping you in chats? Better hit up your girl, find out what's going on. Right? Because she's replying. You know what she's doing? She's replying on these and then she's waiting for people to respond back before she makes the chat. Not what we're supposed to do. Okay. So that's enough of social media for right now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to transition into appointment setting. All right. So, guys, what I want you to think of when it comes to appointment setting is the script that's in the orientation packet that we built. This script is very, very generic. And for some of you, you would say, Noah, I can't use that. It doesn't sound like me. And I'm going to say, perfect. You need to write one down that sounds like you that has this info. So here's what happens. If you're texting a whole bunch of people and then they don't respond or they leave you on red, you're going to feel like this big, right? So what I want you to do initially, guys, is before you go start calling the world, I want you to like get this appointment setting script sort of down pat and then make a phone call. Call your trainer first and say, "Hey, can we role play for like 5 minutes? Can I just try to set an appointment with you really quick?" Right? The answer is yet always going to be yes, right? Do me a favor, Angela, will you put the appointment setting audio in Telegram? Guys, so Angela's going to go put an audio in Telegram for you really quick. It's about 45 minutes. Ian Pruckner built it. Ian, back in the day, was the fastest to $1 million a year in income in Primerica history. He trained Andy. Andy trained me. Andy and Brittany are now the fastest in Primerica history to 1 million a year in income. You come from a lineage of Primerica sort of royalty. Okay, so the system that we use works. If you can learn appointment setting, you will be able to run a business. Here's how appointment setting works, right? Hey, whoever it is, a little bit of small talk, conversation. Think about it like this. Do you need a reason to call your mom or your best friend or your brother or your sister or anybody that's that close to you? No, right? You don't need a reason. So pick up the freaking phone and call them and just say, "Hey, what's going on? How you doing? Everything's good?" Blah, 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 right? Hey, listen, the reason I'm calling, I don't know if you, I don't know if I mentioned it. I don't know if you saw it on Facebook. I don't know if I mentioned it since the last time we talked. Whatever it sounds like for you, I'm working on some financial licensing. I got a new job. I got to get some training in, right? I just wanted to set a time to pop on a Zoom, show you guys what we're doing. That way, if you or somebody you know in the future could use it, you'd know enough to feel comfortable referring us. So as far as us getting together on a Zoom, what's better for you? Weekdays or weekends? Today or tomorrow? Tomorrow or the next day? You're giving them a yes or a yes option. That's it, right? And so what most of you will do is you'll call and you'll like word vomit and then you'll say, "So when can we meet?" And as soon as you ask that question, somebody's gonna go, "I don't know. Let me look at my calendar. I'll get back to you." Does that sound familiar? Right? That sounds like that's what happens to most people. And so here's what you need to do. You need to have your script up and available, right? For you. handwrite it, say it out loud, say it to your cat. I don't care, right? Do what you got to do, but get it out a couple of times before you try to do it live. And as you're like getting that script up, you need to have your trainer's calendar, whoever it is, whether it's me, Haley, Angela, Jen, doesn't matter, right? And when you're, oh, this is like the, delete this. That's the one we were making up earlier, Jen. Ridiculous. That one doesn't even belong there. All right. So free financial consultation. That's what you're putting client appointments on. Okay. During the scripting process from the social media stuff is when somebody's going to book their own interview. Don't worry about that. Appointment setting that we're talking about right now is appointment setting for clients. Okay. So when you're going to book this appointment, you need to have this up, right? So if you're looking at my calendar and we're looking at like the next 3 days, guys, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, if you want to book an appointment and it's blue, you do not have to ask. If it's blue, you can have it. That means there's a time in here that you can go take. Okay. Now, generally, clients are going to be available on evenings and weekends because that's when both decision makers are present. Sound right? Right. So, guys, we all work on weekends at some point or another. Have to, right? This business was built on nights and weekends, and that's when most people are available. All right. So, if you're going to go book an appointment, it's going to sound something like this, right? So, like, hey guys, as far as us getting together, it'll be like 30 minutes on a Zoom call. Super simple. When's better for you? Friday or Saturday? And then wait for answer. And if they go, oh, I don't know, this is really busy, blah, 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 right? Hey, listen, so affirm, answer, close. Take notes, affirm, answer, close, and then just generally, right? So affirm is, hey, Jen, listen, I get it. I'm super busy too. But like just generally, when things aren't as crazy as they are right now, when's generally better for you? Like weekdays or weekends? And then shut up and wait for answer because they're going to tell you. Because what happens is when you use just generally, is it disarms people from going, I can't right now because I'm too busy. Because that's just a knee-jerk reaction, right? Hey, listen, I get it. Like we're all super busy, but just generally, when your hair is not on fire and life's not so crazy, when's better for you? Weekdays or weekends? I don't know. Weekends. Perfect. So now we went from weekdays or weekends to weekends. Perfect. Like Saturday or Sunday? Saturday? Awesome. Me too. So you want to do like in the morning or like afternoon? Oh, morning's too rough, like afternoon or early evening, right? So now we're on Saturday, afternoon or evening. Pick one. Afternoon. Listen, you want to do like 1 o'clock? One or two? Which one's better? I'll pencil it in for you right now. One. Perfect. Hey, listen, obviously I already got your phone number. Just text me your email really quick, or just tell it to me and I'll write it down. I'll get this book for you. And as long as something doesn't change between now and then, I'll see you at 1 o'clock on Saturday. My regional vice president's actually going to run the appointment for me because I'm just getting started, right? And do me a favor, make sure you and Bob are both there. Otherwise, I don't get credit for the appointment. Sound good? Awesome. Listen, I'll see you Saturday at 1. Do me a favor, throw it in your calendar because if you're anything like me, if it's not in my calendar, it doesn't exist. Am I right? Awesome. Thanks, Ro. I'll see you then. I'll see you Saturday at 1. If something changes, call me and we'll get it moved around for you. Get off the phone. Do not sit there and get badgered, get beat up, right? Add yourself as a guest and answer as much of the information as you can. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of give you an example here really quick. I'm setting an appointment with Angela for Saturday at 1. Add yourself as a guest, right? So if I was setting this appointment, I would add, oh, I don't know why I didn't do that, but you get the idea, right? Type in your email. It hates me right now. But just type in your email as the guest. That way you get the Zoom links, you get the reminders and all that. And then down here, answer as many of the questions as you can. What's the biggest concern? Well, none, right? What state are you in? Florida. Who referred you? Noah. This is you, right? Put yourself in there as the referral. That way I know who to call about the appointment potentially, right? Do they already have life insurance or anything? I don't know, right? Unknown, right? Put their cell phone number in. And then, guys, please, for the love of God, mark as many of these boxes as apply to the person as possible, as much as you know. Because if you just put 18 to 60 on there for age and none of these other things, and it's in a client type appointment, the odds of one of us actually being really, really motivated to run that are pretty low. Here's why. Clients need to be married or have kids or both. Because guys, if you're talking about someone who is unmarried and has no kids, do you think that the odds of them needing life insurance and financial planning and services and all that stuff are really, really high or really, really low? Or at least their desire to have them? Probably pretty low, right? So when we're talking about clients, we want to make sure that people have a spouse. Married is ideal, but at least a spouse, right? And that kids are present in the relationship somehow, whether they're minor children or adult children, it doesn't matter. If they have kids, they're clients first. Okay. So it's 9:01. I banged through a ton of information. Holy smokes, that was a lot. So we talked about your bonus eligibility. It's right, it's waning. We have until midnight on the 2nd to lock in the extra bonus. Guys, if you're bonus eligible at all, and we were going to do it anyway, you would rather do it and make extra money. Listen, we can get you up to a 550 bonus, especially if you're fairly new right now. One recruit, 1,000 in premium. It can be one policy of 84 bucks a month. It can be two policies of 44 bucks a month or whatever, right? Whatever gets you to that 1,000 annual. It all adds up. It all keeps stacking. Okay. Also, it gets you reset for that trip to Marco Island, meaning at the end of the month, you're going to be on track to winning. If you don't know what it means, would you rather have a shot at earning a free trip to Marco Island or no shot at all? I'll wait. Trust me, you want a shot to staying at the JW in Florida and Marco Island in February. You want a shot. And if you want the shot, you need to get reset right now. That means 1,000 in premium personal and one recruit personal. If you're brand new, it doesn't matter, right? And if you're a trainer and you write a policy for your new agent, they get reset with the premium and so do you. It counts both, right? You get reset. All right. If you're coming to ECBS, if you're coming to the builder school, right, that's that last couple of minutes of the cool video. If you're coming to that, you do one policy at all this month, right? You get to be in the private session with Keith Otto. Ooh, crazy. Jen, for Marco Island, that part, if you
Okay.
if you write a policy for me, right?
hmm
And I'm in training and I have a recruit and you have a direct personal recruit as well. The premium counts for you as the licensed agent writing it, and it counts for the field training new agent that gets it as an observation.
Okay.
It counts for both of you. Okay. You get it because you wrote it, they get it because it's going to bump their bonus. Primerica's trying to give you like all the incentives to do it, right? It counts for everybody. So huge, guys, huge. Give yourself a shot to be in contention to earn the trip. And you're only competing against other people at your level for the next 3 months after you're on track for winning. You're not competing against all the big dogs, right? So everybody has a shot at earning the trip in your category. Okay. So listen, we have like 4 days left. I have some space in my calendar tomorrow. And here's the other fun part. If some of you don't have like personal life insurance or you don't have it on yourself or your spouse, all of that counts for your bonus, promotion, everything. It all counts, right? Where else could you go get life insurance, something you were probably going to do anyway, and have it count for a bonus and a promotion for your current job? That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, guys, we're over. I don't like to go over, but we are 4 minutes. I'm going to stop the recording. I'll get this out and thought it was